Hey guys, it's Frank from Cruising with Wheels. Have you ever suffered at the hands of the Haven Hitman? Well, I'm going to tell you how Kevin and I barely survived his savage assaults in this episode of my Tales from the High Seas. Well, here you go. Everyone's been wondering what happened to us on the NCL Bliss for our Alaskan cruise we took at the beginning of June. It was the inaugural cruise, and we were so excited. Unfortunately, the minute we boarded the ship, it became the start of a disaster that only culminated through the cruise and ended with an explosion as we were exiting off the ship. So I'm going to start this tale with the letter that we sent Andy Stewart, President and CEO of Norwegian Cruise Lines. And I'm going to take you through the letter we sent. So I kind of want to put you in his place as someone who doesn't know us from a hill of beans. Think of how you would react if you were him reading this letter. To Andy Stewart, I am compelled to write this letter to address a major issue that occurred on the NCL Bliss inaugural Alaska sailing on June 2nd to June 9th of 2018. And then I included our reservation number and the cabin that we stayed in. I have an almost 20-year relationship with NCL, as my first cruise was on the NCL Sky in 2001. Though my husband and I have sailed mostly on your cruise line, we have also sailed on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Costa, and Princess. A total of about 30 cruises under our belt to date. We find your cruise line to be the most handicap-friendly and love the freestyle cruising atmosphere and are currently platinum status with your cruise line. NCL has a special place in our hearts. We booked the NCL Bliss back in January of 2017. Alaska being on our bucket list for a long time now, and it seemed to be the perfect scenario of cruising on your newest and biggest ship. We watched her along the way, being built, being launched, going through sea trials, and eventually coming across the Atlantic. We had hoped to be at her christening on May 30th, but our schedules would not allow it. New York to Seattle is a huge trip for me. My husband Kevin and I have a YouTube channel, Cruising with Wheels. We are also on all the major social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. We use our almost 20 years of cruising experience and knowledge to help first-time cruisers as well as seasoned cruisers. We create many different types of videos: ship tours, cabin tours, food videos, cruising tips, daily vlogs of our cruise, and we live stream via YouTube while on board your ship. We post a minimum of 3 videos per week, and our subscribership to our channel continues to grow every day. No one promotes the NCL brand on YouTube like we do, and we consider ourselves your unofficial brand ambassadors. Our channel has a focus on handicap accessibility on your cruise ships, as I am now confined to a wheelchair since becoming ill in 2010. We always contact your public relations coordinator before each sailing. We deal mostly with Andrea Sugranis, as she has always been gracious and accommodating to us as we promote the NCL brand on most of our YouTube videos. She extends to us VIP status, as we are considered the media on board. We check in at the Haven Lounge, pre-board with the Haven guests, and are able to eat breakfast and lunch at the Haven restaurant if we choose to. The use of a concierge and the use of the internet, as it is essential to access all the social media platforms we use while on board to promote your brand. On our last sailing on board the NCL Jade, she afforded us these accommodations, and we sailed without any problems or issues. This was also my 60th birthday cruise as a present. Our concierge, Cholette, was an absolute dream. This was not the case on this Bliss sailing. We arrived at the port terminal in Seattle. We checked in up at the Haven Lounge with Martha.
So you can see there's lots of nice seating in here, and over there is the check-in desk. Now that is where Haven guests will check in. So the woman over there, his name is Martha. She was very nice. She helped us through the process, and
she looked at her clipboard and said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got you right here on the VIP list." And she told us that Adrian from the Haven would be our concierge. Now, when we boarded the Bliss, you can see, now we had two Haven attendants. We had Kevin, who I believe was also a concierge, and he escorted us up the ramp to the ship. I also had Felix, who was Haven Wheelchair Assist, as you can see in this video.
okay, guys, boarding time has begun. Kevin, the concierge, is going to take us up to the Haven. And Felix, say hi, Felix. Hi. He's going to take Frank. He's pushing Frank up the stairs right now. So, as you can see in Seattle, it is one of those winding bridges that takes you. Here we go.
Now, Martha, when she called them to come get us, said, "Okay, now take them right up to the Haven restaurant for lunch." And that's exactly what they did. And we made our way through their private passages. VIP Haven guests took us up the elevator, accessed the Haven complex on deck 17, because the Haven complex is on deck 17 and 18. Now, just in case you don't realize, but also on decks 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, there are aft Haven suites, okay? And they are separate from the complex, but they are Haven and part of the entire Haven experience. So we get up there and, had a really nice time. And Kevin, uses his key card to access the Haven complex, because if you're not Haven, you can't just open the door and walk in. It's key control access. So he gets us in there, and, Felix is wheeling me in, and everyone is there going, "Hi, welcome, good morning, how are you? Welcome to the Haven, welcome, welcome." And there's a guy standing there, and he's holding a tray of mojitos. And he's like, "Here you go." And he's starting to hand us these free mojito drinks. And we're like, "Oh, wow, isn't this nice?" So, they're pushing us, and we get to the Haven restaurant, okay? And that's where we encounter the Haven hitman. Yep. Here he is, Adrian Bika. And he's standing in the doorway holding his little clipboard. And, we roll up to him. And again, we're with Haven crew members. They're dressed in their burgundy colored vests with their name tags, Haven and their name. And he's like, suite number, please. And, you know, I'm down here and I look up and I said, well, we don't have a Haven suite. We're in the cabin number, 11629. And he immediately, you are not Haven guests. You do not belong here. You need to leave. And I said, well, hold on. I said, we usually are able to eat lunch in the Haven because of, we are considered, you are not Haven guests. And he wouldn't let us finish a sentence. And I looked at him and I said, okay, can you slow your roll for just a second? And he looked at me and said, I am slowing. And I'm like, okay. So Kevin and I are trying to explain that, who we are, and we're the media, and, we deal with the public relations coordinator, Andrea, and she arranges for us, to film in the Haven, and so she accommodates us as lunch on embarkation day, as well as all the other amenities she gives us. And he looks down, and he was like, not on this ship you don't. And we're like, well, dude, okay, this is what happens. So, but he wouldn't listen. And he kept repeating himself. He kept going through that corporate, you are not Haven. I mean, he literally was like, just totally on autopilot. And if you're the head concierge of the Haven, and you don't listen to people, then something's wrong. And so Kevin says to him, are you Adrian, our concierge? And he looked at and he went, absolutely not. Pamela, the secretary to the hotel director, will be handling you. I mean, he literally was almost about to throw up in his mouth at the mere thought that he would have to deal and talk to us mere peons who are non-Haven guests. Oh my God, he was like, oh no. I am Adrian Bika, and I am the head concierge, and I only deal with Haven suite guests. And it was like, oh my God. And he even gave us his business card. Like, hi, I'm an asshole. Here's my card. And we're like, okay, so Pamela will be handling us. Okay, I don't know what that means. And he kept saying, so you need to leave. And he kept doing that. Like, you are dirt under my feet. I don't even want to talk to you. Oh, please leave. I'm about to puke in my mouth. And I was sitting there going, are you kidding me? And I wanted to say, okay, Adrian, how do you think we got in here if this was not all prearranged? I mean, he wouldn't even call someone to verify who we were. He didn't even want to do nothing. It was, you don't belong here. You need to leave. Get out. Get out. And I was like, how do you think we got, what, do you think we kidnapped Kevin and Felix? Is that what you think? Do you think we kidnapped them? And, do you think we, got our guns? Put our guns to their head and we're like, okay, see? All right, you two, you're going to get us to the Haven complex. And I'm going to make you open that door. Because we're going to get to the Haven restaurant, all right? We're going to sneak in because we need that free lunch in the Haven. All right, come on, you two. Let's go. Make it happen. Move. Get that key card in there. Open the door. Okay, that was my best Edward G. Robinson impression I could do. But, I mean, seriously, is that what he thinks? How does he think we got Kevin and Felix? How does he think we got in? You have to have a Haven key card to open the Haven complex door. I mean, he wasn't even using common sense. He wasn't even thinking. He didn't want to hear it. And he says, get out. You don't belong here. You don't, get out. So we're like, Okay. So Felix turns me around, and Felix and Kevin, and they're all embarrassed, okay, witnessing this entire display. And they're like, oh, I'm really sorry. As we're now doing the walk of shame out of the Haven complex, being thrown out by Adrian Bika, who is standing there literally going, show me your papers. Show me your papers. You don't belong here. Get out. And they're like, I'm really sorry. I don't know. Apparently there's some, miscommunication somewhere. And we're like, yeah, there sure is. What a jerk. What a freaking asshole. So we're like, okay, just, you know what? Just take us down to the local and we'll have lunch there. So we go down there and we're like, oh my God, what a jerk. He was so rude and arrogant and nasty. I mean, there was absolutely no call for that. Absolutely none. You're supposed to be the head concierge of the Haven? And people I have spoke to online are all like, oh yeah, he's awesome. Oh, he's great. Oh, he gets all the new ships because, he's just fabulous. Oh, they love him. He's great. Really? Really? He's great. This is how he treats people. Okay? And this was just the beginning. This was just only the first incident, people. Oh, there's more. There's more coming. And we weren't the only ones. So, we're making our way down to the local to eat. We're absolutely humiliated, okay, having been thrown out of the Haven by this jerk. And we're thinking, okay, well, we're going to be dealing with Pamela, the secretary to the hotel director. Hopefully she'll be nice and accommodating. And she turned out to be an absolutely lovely young lady. Now, after we had lunch, we made our way to our cabin. And when we got into the cabin, we had lots of little amenities and gifts waiting for us. Haven amenities and gifts. Because Andrea, allows us to have this. And she's so generous with us. And so we get all these little Haven things. We had the Haven robes, the Haven slippers. In the bathroom, there was all these Haven products, lotions and Haven body washes and scrubs, and all these champagne and wine and chocolates. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Latitudes Department. They're just awesome to us. So she arranges all of this. And this is what we expect. This is what she tells us. This is what she emails us. And she says, you're going to get this and that and your usual amenities and usual accommodations and your lunch and, whatever. I mean, on the Jade, we were able to have breakfast and lunch every day in the Haven restaurant if we wanted to. We didn't, because there were so many other things to do and places to eat. But that's what she affords us. He didn't want to listen, didn't want to hear it. It was like, you're dirt, you're scum, I can't even begin to look or talk to you, get out. So as I continue with my story, as I said, this would not be the only horrible encounter we would have with Adrian or that other guests on board would have with him who had similar experiences. Now, we met a couple, absolutely adorable. Okay, they were on our deck 11, and they were in one of the Haven Aft Suites. And their names are Wayne and Henrique. Now, they were eating dinner one night at the Haven restaurant. And they were accosted by Adrian. And I think they were about to leave the restaurant. I think they had already had dinner, if I remember what Kevin told me. He had more conversations with them than I did. They were absolutely adorable couple. We absolutely love them. But then they were leaving. They had just finished their dinner. And Adrian was like, excuse me, who are you? What are you doing here? How did you get in here? Who are you with? Are you with a Haven guest? I don't know you. I don't know you. You're not from the complex. What are you doing here? And they were like, bitch, excuse me? We're in a Haven suite, okay? And we paid thousands of dollars for our Haven suite. And I don't appreciate your nasty attitude. So you go scrub it. And they walked out. But I mean, that's how he was. He was always in attack mode. Yeah, hello, excuse me, Adrian, hello, Clue. Deck 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 have Haven aft suites. Not everybody who's in the Haven stays in the Haven complex, you idiot. Why would you be attacking people that you don't know? Your world is not just the complex. Okay? And there's a way to do it. You don't just go up to people and start attacking them. I mean, everybody knows that I spent 40 years in retail. Now, if I thought, let's say, for example, I had a shoplifter in my store, I wouldn't go up to them and go, excuse me, what are you doing? Are you a shoplifter? Are you stealing from me? Are you going to steal? Are you trying to steal from me? What are you doing? You don't do that. It's ridiculous. There's a way to do it. You go up to them and you say, hello, how are you? Is there anything I can help you find? And you get into conversations with them, and you get to talking, and you assess the situation as to what they're doing, and you figure out, are they a legitimate customer? Are they a shoplifter? Because you can figure that out through a back and forth dialogue. And he could have done that. He could have said, hi, how are you? Did you enjoy your dinner here in the Haven? I don't think I remember you. What suite are you in? And they would have said, oh, we're down on deck 11 in aft Haven suite number blah, blah, blah. And he would have said, oh, that's awesome. I hope you're enjoying your experience. I hope to see you soon. But that's not what he did. That's not what he did. He accosted them and verbally attacked them. And there was absolutely no cause for that whatsoever. It was really absolutely ridiculous. And they were very upset. Now, Wayne and Henrique are engaged, and they're going to be married. Now, they're from New York City. Okay, you do not piss off the rich gays from Manhattan. Okay, you don't do that. That's crazy. And so they were gonna book the Haven for their honeymoon and bring the whole family. They're like, they said, Kevin, we were going to book the whole Haven for our wedding and all the family. But screw this. Screw NCL. That ain't going to happen. So they started asking Kevin, we're probably going to pick then MSC. So, what can you tell us about MSC Yacht Club, which is the equivalent of NCL Haven? And Kevin was like, oh my God. Well, NCL just lost all that Haven business. Thank you, Adrian Bika. Let's screw some more guests. And it breaks our heart because, we love NCL. And you get one bad apple acting absolutely outrageous and ridiculous to guests. And there you go. Money out the door, NCL. Sorry. They're probably going to do MSC Yacht Club. So, they were the latest victim of his savage rage. But on Thursday, June 7th, we had a sit-down meeting with the hotel director, Hovo Sekulovic. And we always sit down with the hotel directors on every ship we sail on. And we always have a back and forth dialogue. It's kind of a meet and greet. And we talk about handicap accessibility and what we do. And issues that maybe the cruise line can improve upon and things like that. And so we were talking, blah, 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 yada, yada. And Hovo was really nice and accommodating, and, we were having a really good conversation. So, during the course of our conversation, as we're, picking his brain on things, Kevin brings up the incident with Adrian on Embarkation Day. And I thought, I kind of didn't know whether we were going to bring it up or not. So he brought it up. And so we had already told Pamela about it. Because, we deal with Pamela on an everyday basis. And we said, this is ridiculous. And he should not have done that. There was, whatever. And of course, as usual, she apologized. She was sorry and, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, well, it's not your fault. But, you need to know that this is going on. I know he's head concierge for the Haven, but hello, there are thousands of other guests on board. And he should accord them the same respect and courtesy that he apparently only affords the Haven guests, in the complex. Because if you're Haven out of the complex, like Wayne and Enrique, you don't get that. So Kevin brings it up, and we're telling the story to Hovo. And this was his response. And he said, and this is a quote from Hovo, and I quote, "In Adrian's defense, he's following corporate guidelines to protect the integrity, the sanctity, and the purity of the Haven experience, and not to allow non-Haven guests to be there." And I looked at him and I said, well, you know what? I can appreciate that, and I understand that because, like you said, it is an experience that people pay extra money for to be up in the Haven complex. And, if you just let anybody in, it's a free-for-all, then it's not fair to them because they paid for that exclusivity. Exclusivity, if I said that right. And so I said to him, yeah, I get it, Hovo, I get it. But, I said, if protecting the purity of the Haven means being rude and nasty to the guests, mission accomplished, Hovo. He succeeded. Sorry, but that's not the way to do it. There's a way to handle it, I told him. I said, you know what, Hovo? You and I both know that in most cases, it's not about the incident that happened. It's usually about the way the incident was handled by the person in charge. And I'm sorry, but Adrian totally failed. A total failure on his part in the way he handled it with us. And it was very, very disturbing. And so, we finished our conversation with him, and Jen-Mark Opan, who was the access officer on board, was also there in the meeting. And he was really, really nice. We really got a lot of things and issues we gave to him. Absolutely adorable. He has a really, really nice official NCL portrait picture. Very handsome, very nice. So, as I continue my letter to Andy Stewart, on Friday, June 8th, Pamela took my husband, Kevin, and one of our YouTube fans and friends, Steve, and she took them up to laser tag because Kevin wanted to film laser tag for our vlogs. And so she took them up via the back crew elevators. And so as they were going up to the top deck for laser tag, guess who gets on the elevator at one of the stops? Adrian. And Kevin and Steve kind of look at each other going, you have got to be kidding. What are the chances that we're going up and Adrian gets on? And so he's all la-di-da with Pamela. all chitty chatty and nice, never acknowledges Kevin, never acknowledges Steve. I mean, why would he? They're only guests on the ship. What does he care about them? I mean, I'm sorry, but isn't the policy of NCL and every other cruise ship is that you say hello, smile, and acknowledge every guest you come in contact with? Well, not him. No. He doesn't know you. You're not Haven. You're dirt. Doesn't need to talk to you. Doesn't need to acknowledge you. So he's just chitty-chatting with Pamela. And so all of a sudden, Steve starts talking to Adrian, and he says to him, you know, we're going to be back here on the Bliss in October for the Halloween cruise, and I'm bringing my wife with me, so yeah, and we're going to be staying in the Haven. Adrian totally ignores him, doesn't acknowledge anything he just said. So Steve looks at Kevin, and then looks back, and repeats it to Adrian, and says it again. Yeah, we're going to be in the Haven, so we're going to see you. Yeah, I'm bringing my wife. I hope it's going to be exciting, a Halloween cruise. And the door opens, and Adrian walks out, turns around, and goes, yeah, right, and walks off. And the doors close. Kevin and Steve look at each other, and they go, what a jerk! And this is all done in front of Pamela. I'm sorry, but this is not the way you treat people. I know those of you that I've talked to on Facebook talking about Adrian and the comments I've been reading about how wonderful he is and the best of the NCL brand. Oh, he's awesome. Huh, I'm sorry. You couldn't prove it by me or anybody else. You couldn't prove it by me or Kevin. You couldn't prove it by Wayne and Henrique. You couldn't prove it by poor Steve. Pamela, who's, witnessing this. It's not right. It's a little ridiculous. So anyways, as we continue with the letter, I write, on Monday, June 4th, Pamela arranges for us to eat dinner at the Haven restaurant because, she and Hovo are upset by the way we were treated on embarkation day, and said, we're gonna get you to the Haven for dinner. But we were like, okay, but someone, you're gonna escort us up there. You're gonna escort us up there. We're gonna get into the restaurant, and you're gonna make sure that Adrian's nowhere around, because we're not gonna be sitting in the restaurant eating and have Adrian come up to the table and look at us and go, what are you two doing here? You don't belong here. I told you you don't belong here. You better get out. We're like, that is not going to happen. So you better make arrangements, okay, proper arrangements. Because I swear to God, if I see his ugly mug, I'm going to lose it. Because we're not going to be thrown out again and be humiliated and embarrassed by this guy. So she makes the arrangements. And we get there, and we're seated. It's very quiet. There's practically no one there. And we're at a table for two by the window. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we meet our server, Alexis, and the assistant maitre d', Lilibeth. And we have an absolutely wonderful dinner. Oh, my God. It was to die for. It was succulent. And as we're talking to people there, and they're all like, I know. I don't know why he's so nasty. He came from the Epic. I don't know how he got this job here. He's like that with everybody. He's got such an attitude. And we're like, I don't know either. Because let me tell you, if he worked for me, he'd be out after an hour. Fired. You're fired. But while we're there, it was really awesome because Wyland was there eating dinner with his girlfriend and his mom, Darlene, and her friend, Deanna. And so we were able to get to talk to him, and it was like, oh, hey, guys, as he came up to our table, hey, we're gonna do that interview, right? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. When do you want to do it? And he was like, oh, well, I'm headed down now. I've got an autograph signing and picture taking. So after that, why don't we do the interview? And we were like, cool. we'll be down there. So we were so excited to finally be able to connect with him. So we went down and, we watched him smooth around with the guests and sign autographs. And when it was done, we did the interview. And of course, that video has already been posted. But the next day, we were sitting in the atrium drinking our Starbucks coffee. And his mom, Darlene, and her friend Deanna sat down kind of next to us. Because, they always have a cluster of 4 chairs. We were in 2, and they kind of sat down in the other 2. And like you do with other guests, you get to talking, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And so, we kind of scooched over and got closer. And we spent an hour talking with Wyland's mom, Darlene, and her friend Deanna. And they were just so super sweet. And so as we were having discussions, I kind of came up, I think Wyland also had a few problems with Adrian. Yet another victim. But the final blow here, okay, came on the last day, June 9th, okay, when we were disembarking. Now, we met Jen Mark, the access officer, on deck 8, okay, and he was going to arrange priority wheelchair assist to get us off the ship. So we were at Maltings, and we were waiting, and we didn't have to wait too long. And he assigned us Ferdinand. And Ferdinand, thankfully, big husky guy, was going to wheel me off. And it happened really quick. And so Ferdinand started wheeling me, and we were saying, bye, Jen Mark. Hopefully we'll see you soon. And of course, priority disembarkation. He takes you through the crew back area into the crew private elevators. And he was getting us down to the VIP Haven disembarkation point as we were getting in line. And we were there, and as we were getting closer to the exit, who do we see standing by the security podium desk? Adrian Bika. And we look at each other and we go, oh my God, Jesus, good Lord, is this nightmare ever going to end? Why is he always around? Oh my God. So he was, Adrian was there. Hi, he's like, goodbye, goodbye. Hope you had a great time. See you soon. He's smoozing all the Haven guests because, that's his job. And so the guard was, busy scanning everyone's sail and sign card. Dink, 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 and they were all getting off the ship. So it was early. Now, we had arranged for GroundLink, our private car service, to pick us up at the Port of Seattle at 9:30 in the morning. Well, God, it was like almost 8:30, so we were off the ship really fast. So I said to Kevin, as we're kind of slowly rolling in line to get to the exit, I said you better get on your cell phone and contact GroundLink right now and see if our car service can get here early. I don't want to be out there for an hour, on the sidewalks of Seattle waiting. So he starts, to text GroundLink. And all of a sudden, Adrian starts screaming at Kevin. Literally screaming in front of everybody in line, every guest waiting to get off the ship. He starts screaming, I do not give you permission to film me. You cannot film me. You cannot do that. What are you doing? And Kevin looks at him and goes, I am not filming you or anybody else, nor would I want to. And so the security guard goes, you are not allowed to film in the security area. And Kevin's like, I know, we're the media on board. We're very aware of what the NCL policy is regarding filming on the ship. So Adrian is still screaming at Kevin, and Kevin is getting hot. Okay, red and hot. And he goes, "You need to stop. And I don't appreciate your nasty attitude." So Adrian goes, "I don't appreciate your nasty attitude too." And so Kevin's like, "Don't think that I am not going to contact corporate about your behavior on this ship." And then Adrian looks at him and goes, "Well, I've already contacted corporate about your behavior on the ship." And I'm sitting in my wheelchair like this, right, and now, because they're kind of behind me, because I'm right at the podium, and the security guard is right in front of me, so I can only kind of hear. And I'm looking at the guard, and so I mutter, I go, "What the dude," as I'm listening to the screaming match. And so the guard looks down at me and goes, "Language." And I'm thinking to myself, what? Am I in Bizarro World? Are you telling me that the security guard is more concerned because I muttered, "What the f-?" He's more concerned about that than he is the Haven concierge screaming at the guests. Are you kidding me? That's what he's worried about. I mean, ridiculous. So they're going at it. All this is happening, as we're about to exit off the ship. And if the guard has already dinked my card, and Kevin is like, he is furious, and they're going back and forth. And the final was like, Kevin finally looked at him, and Adrian said, "Well, f you." And we were off the ship. And he was like, if we had not already been scanned, we would have stopped. And we would have said, "We're not going anywhere. We're not leaving this ship. You freaking get the hotel director down here right now." Because let me tell you, I guarantee you that if Hovo, the hotel director, or Andy Stewart, CEO and president of Norwegian Cruise Line, was standing around a corner listening to this entire exchange and this verbal attack by Adrian on us, Adrian would have been fired on the spot and his ass would have been tossed off the ship right there in Seattle. Here's a ticket. Go home. Absolutely outrageous behavior. And to think that this all played out in front of everybody. So Ferdinand is now wheeling us down into port, and we're there, to find our luggage. And of course, Kevin and I are we just can't believe what just happened. It was like, are you kidding me? From beginning when we got on board on day one to the final ending on the last day to deal with this freaking asshole. And so we're talking, and Ferdinand is going, I don't know why he's like this. He's like this with everybody. He's so nasty. I don't know how and he says, "I don't know how he got this job." And I said, well, he obviously, schmoozed somebody. Somebody was sold a bill of goods on this guy. He convinced somebody that he was the best of the best. And he should, he gets all the new ships as a head concierge for the Haven. Give me a break. He doesn't deserve to clean toilets, let alone be interacting with any guests on board a ship. So we collect our luggage. We say goodbye to Ferdinand. And we're just so appalled. And so, we get outside, and we've contacted Ground Link. He's going to try to get us as soon as possible. And that's what happened. So in conclusion of my letter to Andy Stewart, I said, in conclusion, we are not looking for any kind of monetary compensation. We are looking for this individual to be reprimanded for his intolerable actions toward your guests. We have always been treated with dignity, respect, and with the utmost courtesy by any and all of your crew members who either clear the tables in the buffet or by the maintenance crew who sweep up and vacuum, than by a high-level concierge of the Haven complex, who acts like he owns the company and not that he's an employee of the company and is supposed to be courteous and pleasant to every paying guest on the ship, no matter what their cabin level is or who they are. As for my opinion, after a 40-year career in corporate retail, now forced into retirement, this kind of behavior toward customers, guests, would never have been tolerated in any of my 100+ stores. And my husband Kevin, in his 27 years of owning his salon, would never tolerate this from any employee. This is definitely a black stain on the NCL brand. And that is the letter we sent Andy Stewart, President and CEO of NCL Cruise Lines. It was absolutely horrific. We were not the only ones to be victims of his savage attacks, his nastiness, his unprofessional attitude. I don't know why he was like that, but it wasn't just us. It was other guests. And in talking with crew members who interacted with him, we got the same response. They don't know why he's like that. They didn't know how he got this job. And the picture we showed you in the beginning of this video of Adrian Bica, that picture was taken when he was concierge on the Epic. So you're out there, honey. You have no expectation of privacy. You're on a cruise ship. People have video cams and cameras. We didn't take the picture of you. We weren't invading your privacy, without your permission. That picture was taken by a guest on the Epic, and it was posted on the internet. So, hello, the internet. It's a wonderful tool. So, Adrian Bica, screw you. I wonder how many other people experienced this with him. I don't know. So if you're watching this video and you stayed in the Haven or in a Haven aft suite on decks 9 through 16 and you came in contact with him, I encourage you to report him to customer service and to the NCL complaint department. It has been 3.5 weeks since we submitted this complaint letter, and we sent it to Andy Stewart and every vice president of NCL, as well as our public relations contact, Andrea. 3.5 weeks, and as of right now, of this video, we have not heard one word from anybody. Not one word. But we're not going to let that ruin our NCL experience. Cruising in Alaska was an awesome experience. Everybody should do it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Alaska is majestic. The ship, the Bliss, was gorgeous. Who would not want to be on this beautiful, modern, upscale, decorated ship? Compared to no other. Would we go again to Alaska? Absolutely we would go to Alaska. You need to go again. There's so much to see, so much to do. Just not enough time, 7 days. So yeah, I would go again. It's a long trip, but I'd go again. Those of you watching know that Kevin and I have announced our group cruise. Yeah, we're going to be going on the brand new NCL Encore. Yup. Eastern Caribbean Cruise, January 19th through the 26th of 2020. So we got a ways away, but you know what we were talking about after we did our YouTube live stream announcing the group cruise? Oh my God, it's a new ship. Is Adrian going to be on that ship too? Ah! Because as everyone said, he gets all the new ships. Are we going to encounter him again? Are we going to be verbally abused and attacked by him on the Encore? Because let me tell you, if he looks at us and farts sideways, it's going to be all over but the shouting. Because we are going to be calling the hotel director, security, and everybody else. Because this crap is going to end. And this guy is going to be stopped. Because I won't have it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And he is wrong. He failed. So I don't care that he has lied to everybody else at NCL. Because I'm sitting here to tell all of you that Adrian Bika is a liar. He's a fake and he's a fraud. And everybody that says he's the best, he's not. Not where we're concerned, and all the other victims that were part of this cruise that he abused. So there you go. You've been all wondering what happened on the NCL Bliss. Here it is. Food for thought. Take it for what it was. You may agree, you may not agree. But I'm just here to share it with all of you. So, on behalf of Kevin and myself from Cruising with Wheels, I want to remind you that not only are we here on YouTube, and remember to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, but we're also on Facebook, on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. We're everywhere on all the social media platforms. So remember, all of you out there, travel safe and cruise often.